Hey guys, Jar J Yapping here, and today I have a bit more of a newer topic for you guys today. Yes, I'm still doing tier lists. I know they can be a bit boring, but today I've decided to go a little bit of a different route. So instead of, albums or music, this time we're going a little bit more on the gaming side of things. We got Call of Duty Zombies maps ranked. And once again, as you can see, I made my own tier list template for this one. If you're wondering what's to go with all these, so this is all Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 maps, because today's episode is strictly going to focus on the what I'm going to call classic zombies experience. And as you know, classic zombies is like World at War to Black Ops 3. And you're probably wondering, well, you said Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 3, not World at War. And that's the thing. I'm going to come out and say it. I've never actually played World at War. Or maybe I have played it like once when I was like really young, but I don't own World at War. I don't have any means of playing it. I would have to probably do a whole separate video on it, maybe, or like do a redux of this where I count the World at War versions of, you know, the classic four. But for now, I'm going to strictly speak on the BO1 versions of those maps. So, of course, I'm referring to Nacht, Verrückt, Shino, and Derice. And, I will talk a little bit about the Black Ops 3 remakes, but just letting you guys know from now that I'm strictly going to be talking about the BO1 versions of those maps. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, hang on a second. Don't the BO1 maps and Origins have BO3 remakes? Yes, that is true, and I will give you my thoughts on those remakes, but just for the sake of today's video, I'm only going to be counting them as their Black Ops 1 counterparts because I feel like comparing like BO3 engine, Black Ops 1 maps to Call of the Dead, which is still on the Black Ops 1 engine, and 5, which is also only on the Black Ops 1 engine, is a bit cheating, no? But anyways, without further ado, let's start with the World at War maps. Also, you're probably wondering what are these two things down here. This is Dead Ops Arcade 1 from Black Ops 1 and Dead Ops Arcade 2 from Black Ops 3. I just included these for shits and gigs. So, yeah. Anyways, without further ado, straight into our World at War / Black Ops 1 maps. So we got Nacht to start off. Now, I'm fully aware that Nacht is the map that, started zombies as a whole, but if I'm being completely honest, completely objective, it's easily like one of the worst maps. But that's because of how bare bones it was, it was just like a simple idea. It was just a fun little mode back in World at War. It didn't really become all that serious till I want to say like Shino came out, or like Derice even. You could even say like it didn't really become like a serious thing till Black Ops 1, really. But with that said, how do I feel about the BO1 port of it? I honestly think it's still a pretty like okay map. Like it's not all of a sudden like, oh my god, S tier just because it's, nostalgia boner, but it's still pretty like good-ish. I'm gonna go C tier. You want to know my thoughts on the Black Ops 3 remake? I honestly think it takes something I already deem like a kind of fun but easy challenge to just a very boring and piss easy bare bones map. Like, I know people try to say, oh, well, at least you got Gobble Gums and you got Wonder Fizz and like all the Black Ops 3 weapons. That's exactly why it's more boring, in my opinion. Like, Black Ops 3 just makes it so much more mind numbing and easy that I honestly would rather boot up World at War itself and play that version. Um, Speaking of which, Verrückt. Verrückt, I honestly think the BO1 version nails the atmosphere, like the scariness of the World at War version. And that's the thing, it's because the BO1 versions aren't really remasters. I would say they're more like ports, whereas the BO3 ones are straight up remakes. And because of that, I feel like some things get a little lost in translation. So like, yeah, sure, you get your gobble gums, yeah, you get your Wonder Fizz, yeah, you get Black Ops 3 weapons, blah 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 blah. But it's those things that take away from the map, in my opinion. And sure, graphically it looks better, but I feel like the Black Ops 1 version is still more eerie, kind of like the World at War version. So in my opinion, I think I'll put it above Knocked. Not like insanely higher than Knocked, but still like a bit higher than Knocked. Again, the BO3 version just makes it very like mind-numbingly easy. Though I will argue that Verrückt is a bit of a prettier map, definitely a more scary one. I mean, ugh, those sound effects creep the hell out of me, man. You know, I know a lot of people have talked about it in the past before, whether it's the dentist chair, the morgue, even just hearing like the cries and of like women and children throughout the map. And by the way, that's actually not exclusive to Verrückt. Everyone talks about it in Verrückt, but there's other maps where you can hear those kind of creepy sound effects in. Speaking of a somewhat creepy map, let's go Shinonuma, our first B tier. I know what you're probably thinking, bro, what the hell? How is that one B tier but the others are C? I'll be honest, where Shinonuma kind of lacks in scariness, it completely like excels in atmosphere and like a wow, this is like a cool kind of area. Like this is a cool map, and also just in general like an overall like pretty good map. And plus, I think this is one where I say the BO1 and Black Ops 3 versions are actually pretty equal, in my opinion. Like, there's not a clear winner between the two, in my opinion, like Nacht and um, Verrückt. In my opinion, Shino's BO1 and BO3 versions are pretty equal. More of a preference thing, really. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Shino though. Like, you know, Verrückt, I have like a special place in my heart for it because, you know, I'm a massive horror guy, and the fact that that map is, you know, that like bone chilling scares the crap out of me. Whereas, you know, you got Shino where it's just not as scary, but objectively, Shino is a lot better. Because to be fair, like Verrückt introduced us to perks in the first place in World at War, but you know, Shino took perks, ran with that, made them randomized for each run, so it's like a roguelike kind of thing. And then on top of that, like you get dogs as well for the first time. Like it's got some pretty cool ideas, but all of these pale in comparison to the undisputed champion of World at War, which is Doris. Instant A tier. Like, oh my god, everything from the atmosphere to the Easter egg song to, you know, just the overall like map design, the layout, the just everything, man. Like, in some people's words, it was perfect. Perfect. Down to the last minute detail. And to an extent, I would agree. I do think there's quite a few issues with this map. Like, for example, to be fair, some of the issues on this map kind of plague these maps too, which is kind of the fact that in this one you can low-key just sit in the catwalk and you would have zero problem. Especially in the Black Ops 3 version. Oh my god, the Black Ops 3 version completely neuters the difficulty of the World of War maps. I can't lie. Especially Doris, when you can just sit in a corner and just, you know, have your double packed gun and just chill until you run out of ammo, which is the same problem with these two as well. Um, like in the Black Ops 3 version of this, you can literally sit in a corner. It's just so boring. At least in here, it's fun though, because the giant also serves a better narrative purpose as well. And you're probably wondering, well, why didn't you just make the giant a separate entry? I still feel like it kinda is like the Chronicles remakes, but the only difference is that the giant is just separated because, oh, you know, it has like actual story importance to the overall Black Ops 3 storyline, unlike the Chronicles maps. So that's the only difference. But either way, I absolutely love Doris. The minute I actually played it, like a couple of days ago on Black Ops 1 for the first time, I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. Oh, and shout out the fact that it was the first time Pack-a-Punch was a thing. But speaking of nostalgia, we got the GOAT, Kino der Toten. Now, I've spent a lot of time on both versions of the map, and I gotta say, for the record, I personally prefer a little bit of challenge in COD Zombies, so you already know the Black Ops 3 version, even though it's more visually beautiful, very, very easy. You can literally sit in the corner where Jug is found. And if I'm being honest, if you have a double pack gun, you got Jug, you got Quick Revive if you're playing solo. You know, you got a couple perks to your name. Uh, Sitting in that corner where Jug is literally the safest thing you can do in the Black Ops 3 version. Black Ops 1, on the other hand, you sit in that corner, you're dead. Like, I've tried it time and time again. Like, I think I tried it like 5 times in a row, and every single time I sat in that corner, it was just pure death. And that was only about like round. Sometimes like it goes from like round 6 to sometimes round 10, maybe if I'm lucky. So just for that added difficulty factor, I definitely prefer the Black Ops 1 version, but both versions are fine. You know, they have relatively the same features. With that said, how do I actually feel about Kino overall? Um, Hmm. I'd say it's like Doris's like older brother. Like it doesn't really reinvent the wheel per se, but it refines it. Is how I would put it. You know, Doris walked so Kino could run. I guess is what you could say. Moving on, we got one of the more interesting maps on the list, 5. Now, I'll be honest, if you asked me quite a few years ago, oh, like, what's one of your favorite maps from Black Ops 1? I would have said 5. 5, mainly because of the fact that you get to play as people like JFK, Nixon, Fidel Castro, and oh dear, I forgot the name of the last guy. I'm sorry. By all means, tell me his name in the comments. But um, yeah, no, like I thought that aspect of it and just being in the Pentagon is pretty cool. The Pentagon Thief is also a pretty cool feature, but we never saw him again, unfortunately. I don't know, it's a pretty cool, unique map only to Black Ops 1, but I'll be honest, it's probably best as more of a solo map rather than a with other people map. Like, I think this can be enjoyed either or. This is definitely better with someone else. Um, this can be either or, and then obviously Kino's either or. But 5 is definitely more of a single player only map, in my opinion. Obviously, you can play it with other people, but I just feel like it's infinitely worse and more chaotic when you have more than one person. So, um, other than that, though, it's a pretty decent map, but it's a pretty small one. I'm gonna put it above Verrecta Nacht, but below Shino. I feel like Shino innovated a lot more than 5 did, but 5 did have some pretty cool things about it. Um, I will also say the fact that 5 is a relatively small map does kind of hinder it quite a bit. Not that like Kino is insanely bigger than it, but it certainly feels smaller than Kino. Moving on, we got our first Black Ops 1 DLC map with Ascension. Now, interestingly enough, a lot of people don't like Ascension, and I kind of get it because it's like easy, or like, oh, but you need like 4 people to do the Easter egg, therefore the map sucks. And like, look, I totally get that, but you know, whatever, man. Like, I still really like it. I like the uniqueness of how the boss zombie. The boss zombie is pretty unique. You know, a bunch of monkeys that come down, crash into Earth, and you know try to steal your perks. I don't think anything has been like that since. Nah, I don't think so. And speaking of which, I literally squared off against them today when I played some Ascension before recording this video, and I can't lie, cheeky fucking bastards, the lot of them. They stole me quick revive, um, which was kind of annoying, but oh well, still got them. Um, yeah, I think the one thing I'll give the Black Ops 1 version is I feel like the fact that PhD is on the map is huge, but other than that, the Black Ops 3 version is superior. Like, I think, you know, some people's complaints with Ascension is the whole, like, black and white thing, and then, like, you know, going to color once you turn on power. Some people don't like that feature about Ascension. I love it, but I feel like it shines better through the BO3 remake than the BO1 original. All in all, it's a pretty solid map. Would I put it above Doris though? Like, does it do anything insanely better than Doris or Kino? I would say the best thing Ascension gives us is PhD, which isn't even in BO3, but it also gives us, you know, a better way to train in COD Zombies. So, what do I think of it? Oh, and there's also the Gersh devices, which is basically a black hole you can throw down. To be honest, I don't think I've gotten it before, so I can't really speak on using the Gersh devices. But let's go here because I feel like it's still a pretty good map, but it's not as good as like or innovative as Doris or Kino. I mean, Doris gave us um, what was it? It gave us the Wonder Waff, but I think that's also in Shino. But correct me if I'm wrong. But it did give us Pack a Punch at the very least. So, and Kino gave us the Thunder Gun, which is the goat. Oh, and I forgot to mention this map five's Wonder Weapon is the Winter's Owl. Anyways, Call of the Dead. Ooh, okay, this is such a good zombies map, man. It really pisses me off that Call of the Dead is strictly BO1 only. Like, if it got a remake or remaster in like BO3, that would have been so good. But unfortunately, it stuck to BO1. And you know what? I don't care. I literally load up BO1 for this map. It is a. I'm actually not sure because when I think of innovation though, like it doesn't do too much other than like maybe the boss zombie. The boss zombie is a bit innovative. But other than and also having an alternate cast, although to be fair, 5 did that first. I feel like Call of the Dead was um, more of like a celebrity um, cast thing, which would bleed out into some of these other maps. But, anyways, yeah, so what do I think of Call of the Dead? I mean, it's Wonder Weapon. I can't speak on the VRIL or VR11, whatever you want to call it. I can't speak on that because I don't think I've used it. But overall, you know what? Give me high A tier, even above Kino. I love it, love it, love it that much. It's just such a cool map. Not much else to really say. Plus, when you've got George Romero, I mean, literally the guy who, oh, I don't know, created zombies. I mean, come on, that's reason enough. And then we got Shangri-La. Okay, this is gonna be a weird one. I love the jungle. I think the jungle's beautiful. Um, the boss zombies suck. The traps suck. The wonder weapon's cool. But that's about it, man. Like I can say it's definitely better than these, but I am gonna put it low B tier. Like I honestly prefer 5 personally. As cool as the Wonder Weapon is, and as cool as the jungle is, other than that, I really do not care for this map at all. Shrieker Zombie's annoying. Napalm sucks. I hate him. That's pretty much it. Moving on to the final map of Black Ops 1, Moon. And you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, our first S tier. I love this map so much. Whether it's the wave gun, which you know you can either put together as like one big gun or split them apart to 2 guns. That actually comes back later in BO3. Um, whether it's the Moon Man, which is kind of like the George Romero of Moon in a way. You know, you got the uniqueness of needing to actually put on an astronaut suit to breathe in space. You know, what else do you have? Oh, the fact that you start in Area 51 and then you teleport to the moon, like I think that's also pretty cool. And I haven't really been mentioning Easter eggs, and that's because, you know, like these maps, World at War maps don't have any. Kino doesn't have one, 5 doesn't have one. Ascension does have one, but I haven't even done it, nor do I care about it. Same with Shangri-La. Call of the Dead does have one, but again, I'm not really a huge Easter egg head. But I did do moons with a couple of my friends, And oh my god, that one was a bit weird, but it was fun, and it was so cool watching the rockets head over to Earth and, blow up the Earth and cause the next game on our list, BO2 Zombies. I don't really got much else to say about Moon other than just it's all around like such a cool map. Shout out the loading screen too. The loading screen is like a really good piece of music that plays during the loading screen. Pretty creepy, but also like pretty like I don't know, cool in a way. But anyways, moving on, we got Transit. Look, I'm not gonna waste anyone's time. This map is well, this one I like to call potential map. See, everyone and I expect only anime slash manga nerds to get this, but everyone will mock a certain anime slash manga character and call him Potential Man. I call this map Potential Map, and you know what? Unlike that anime character, this thing fucking sucks. I absolutely hate Transit with a passion. The bus sucks. The Easter egg song sucks. I'm pretty sure there's multiple of them as well, by the way. The Return of Nacht is pretty cool, but the way you get there probably sucks. I watched a video on the Easter egg, I haven't actually done it myself, but it looks like shit. To be honest, all of Transit just sucks. Power sucks. Avogadro sucks. Frickin' Denizens sucks. The fog sucks. The lava sucks. And it's a shame because, Transit seems like such a good idea on paper, but because of hardware limitations and execution, it sucked. That's all I have to say about it, though. Let's move on. You know what? Let's go bottom of the barrel. I hate Nuketown Zombies. Like, sure, it's fun a little bit here and there for like occasional challenge, but at least Transit has the excuse of like good idea, bad execution. Nuketown Zombies is just lazy. It's just lazy. It's literally taking a multiplayer map and then shoving it in zombies and calling it a day. So boring. And then you got Die Rise, which, you know what, as much as I hate the verticality, I actually got to try the Slicklifier, which is the wonder weapon on it for once, and let me tell you, I actually enjoyed that. The Slicklifier is actually cool, but a tad bit overrated. And even though I'm giving it some positives now, let me tell you, there are some things about Die Rise that I do not want to talk about because I think I will literally pop a vein. This map is just as bad as Transit, do not get it twisted. I just think Transit has the excuse of just, oh, hardware limitation. Die Rise gets the excuse of, what the fuck are we doing here? Seriously, Who's Who is even worse than Tombstone, I would argue. You have stupid elevators, you have elevators who are also stupid. Yes, I said the same thing twice, but just different ways, because that's how annoying the elevators are. Getting the Slicklifier is honestly kind of annoying, I can't lie. Like, as good as the weapon is, I feel like it's kind of not worth it sometimes because you'll probably die just trying to get the goddamn thing, unless you have other people with you. And then the jumping jacks stink. The verticality of the map stinks. It is a lot easier to die on Die Rise than it is on Transit, I can't lie. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. Next, we got the third last BO2 Zombies map, which is none other than Mob of the Dead. And without saying too much, instant S tier, yes, even above Moon. It's Mob of the Dead. If you know anything about COD Zombies and you know anything about Mob of the Dead, you already know why this is up here. It is one of the most innovational maps of all time. Okay, it honestly helped inspire some of the later maps, in particular a certain great Black Ops 3 map, if you know what I'm talking about. um, I love the Afterlife, I love Brutus, I love the aesthetic, I love just the map, where it is, like what it is. I love the Wonder Weapons, I love the Hell's Redeemer. Well, Retriever, then it turns to Redeemer, I think. Yeah, it goes Retriever, then Redeemer. I love the dog mechanic that comes back in another map as well. Like, there's just so many things that this map does that other maps take from that I think are pretty cool. Plus, Mob of the Dead, Call of the Dead. Oh wow, go figure. I like both of them a lot. Ooh, crazy. Anyways, moving on, we got Buried, which if you got me to make this video a couple of years ago, I probably would have thrown Buried straight away in S tier. But if I'm being completely honest, there are aspects of this map that I think are pretty good, but then there's aspects of this map that I think actually kind of suck balls. First and foremost, Leroy, or whatever the hell his name is, the big guy, BFG, he stinks. Okay, trying to get him to go where you want him to go is annoying, especially when it's your first time trying to understand how to get him to work. Um, the whole difference between candy and booze is not something that's explained at all and is entirely trial and error. The paralyzer is a cool weapon. Time bomb just seems like an absolute, uh, yeah, man. You know what? I'm just gonna mess with you kind of tool. Um, and the witches stink, absolutely. And the fact that they can come at you even if you're not even in the haunted house is also dumb. I don't know whose idea that is. Also, give me 1 second. I need to very quickly charge me my laptop because I think this thing's running low. Really need to get a new one. This is getting irritating. Um, that's not the port. Come on. Hey, there we go. Got in the nick of time. Um, anyways, to summarize, Buried is going to. I mean, it's still better than these maps. Is it better than Ascension though? Yeah, it's got a bit more innovation and more cool features, but I don't think it's that insanely better. I think these two are a lot closer than these two are, in my opinion. Or should I say, this is closer to Ascension than this is to this. Anyways, rounding off the BO2 maps, we finally have Origins, which is a lot of people's. Oh my god, it's the best zombies map. Oh my god! And in my opinion, you know what? You're fair to say that, but to me, I just think it's pretty damn good. But there are some things that hold it down. Mud, in my opinion, yes, I know in Black Ops 3 you can just slide around and it's a bit easier. And that's why I say if it's the Black Ops 3 version, instant S tier, higher than Moon. But because I'm going off the BO2 original, I can't lie, that mod is so much more annoying. The movement's so much more annoying. The weapons are buns in comparison to BO3's weapons. Overall, still a really good map, but the BO3 version just clears so much more. Speaking of BO3, one of my favorite zombies maps of all time. This is literally the successor to Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead is like the father, and this is the equally as goated son or daughter of the map um, of Mob of the Dead. And let me tell you about it, man. Like, Mob of the Dead is such a special map to me because of what makes it unique. You know, the fact that we're in Alcatraz, the characters, the boss zombie, all that stuff. Shadows of Evil says, Mob of the Dead, that's a cool map. You know what we're gonna do? Let's give you Jeff Goldblum as a playable character. We got this really cool villain called the Shadow Man, although we don't really get to see him much in that map, but we do see him a bit later across Black Ops 3 itself. We give you all these other guest characters that are also pretty damn cool. We got this sick ass intro cutscene, just like Mob. Um, you know, you get these cool weapons like the Bloodhound, I'm pretty sure is the name of the starting pistol. Absolutely awesome. You know, you're in Chicago in like what, like the 1900s. It's just all around such a cool map, man. Like, again, it literally is the successor to Mob. So, like, are we really surprised that this is here? You know, like, are we surprised in the slightest? Moving on, we got Horizon, which I actually feel is the successor to Origins. Wow, go figure. The successor to Mob and the successor to Origins are in the exact same tier. Gee, I wonder why. It's because I feel Shadow does some things low-key better than Mob, like objectively some things better. But low-key, I also think Mob does some things better than Shadows does. Um, if I'm being honest, someone actually pointed something out to me the other day about Shadows versus Mob, and it's the fact that how come the zombies don't attack the beast, an actual tangible thing, versus the, what do you call it, like the ghost form afterlife in Mob, when the afterlife is a ghost? How are the zombies even attacking that? And the way I tackle that question is, well, think of it like this. I feel like um, the afterlife ghost that you play as in Mob, I feel like the zombies can like sense it because these guys are like zombies in hell. Alcatraz is like a hellscape, pretty much. It's like a purgatory kind of thing. That's probably why. But who knows? Anyways, actually onto Horizon. What do I like more about Horizon than Origins? Pretty simple actually. I think the bows are better than the staffs. Fight me on that. I actually don't care. Come on, fight me. No, not seriously. But no, in all seriousness, like, I mean, I would be happy to discuss in the comments, like, why anyone thinks the staves are better. But I will also happily, discuss, like, what I think of the bows and why I think they're much, much cooler, in my opinion. Plus, story wise, I think Horizon is awesome. It's Dempsey, um, coming to take his Ultimus version's soul, just like the later maps, you'll see. Uh, Again, I don't have too much to say about these S tier maps because, to be honest, like everyone, like borderline everyone likes these. The only one that I feel like is slightly controversial in the slightest is probably Moon. Other than that, the other like what four are like perfectly fine. Zetsubo, cool ideas, pretty kind of map. I think it's here. I don't got anything else to say. I think the story of it is cool, but other than that, I'm not a huge fan. Um, let's just move on to Gorod, which I think is one of the coolest zombies maps out there, but still got a couple things holding it back. I can't lie. Like, I don't want to put it in the same regard as these, but I will put it high A tier. It is such a good map. Pretty hard to get the hang of things. I'll be honest, I don't have too much experience on this, but just from what I have played, I really do enjoy it, and I do plan on playing it some more. Moving on, let's go to Rev. I can't lie, Rev is like it's good because it's a Black Ops 3 map, but I just think it's also pretty lazy as well in the sense that like, oh, you just go back through older COD Zombies maps and that makes up the most of the map. The only unique places are Spawn, um, and inside the Apothecon. But the weapons and all that stuff is pretty cool. I also think the weapons you can get are cool, but other than that, it's not an insanely great map. It's definitely better than Zetsubo, but objectively, I don't think it's better than the innovation and like the cool factor of all these ones. So I'll give it that much. And finally, we have the two Dead Ops arcade iterations. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Black Ops 1 version is amazing. It is still really fun. I love it. Black Ops 3's is ever so slightly better. And that is the full list, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, fight me in the comments. I mean, if you're a bit too aggressive and too pissed off, you know what, I'm not going to say anything. But if you want to talk about it, tell me your top 5 maps or you know top 10 maps. Tell me your best map from whatever, and just if you want to talk in the comments, by all means, I'm happy to discuss your thoughts on all these maps here. I will be doing a part 2 sometime in the future, talking about the. I mean, that's going to be a bit difficult because it just depends on like what games I've actually played and which ones I haven't. But in the part 2, I'll probably be focusing more on Probably like Black Ops Cold War and then Black Ops 6. Maybe even a little bit of Black Ops 7. And the reason I'm dodging Black Ops 4 entirely is just because the extent of which I've played Black Ops 4 Zombies is literally just, the 3 starting maps, so 9, Voyage, and Blood of the Dead, and then Classified. I've only played those 4 maps, nothing else. I haven't touched any of the DLCs, and to be honest, I don't plan to. Also, let me know if you want to see other COD Zombies games. So, like, if you want to see me do like Infinite Warfare maps, World War II maps, etc., etc. But that's gonna have to do it for today's video. Um, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And peace.